Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a, again, very different video, another SCP video. As I said in my SCP Container Breach, like mini tiny little playthrough, I am developing an SCP video game, and as part of that I was like, maybe I should ask people who are well versed in SCP what they would want from a new SCP sort of Container Breach like video game, because I just wanted to know. So I joined the SCP Discord server, and a lot of them said, dude, read some SCP articles, just start wherever. And actually they didn't say that, but I'm not a complete and total noob when it comes to SCP. So I'm just gonna read a couple SCP articles and sort of record my thoughts and post it on YouTube, because why not? So the first one I picked out is I believe the nickname was The World Idealized, right? SCP-4010. Future Imperfect. I guess the world idealized was SCP-4200. I can't remember. The point is, we're just gonna read some. Alright. Notice from the Cellar Congressional Protectorate Office of Archives. Following the destruction of SCP-4100, this file has been archived. The latest available draft of the file is awaiting publication. So... So, immediately, spoilers, they destroyed SCP-4100. Bummer. Alright, let's see. Planetary Catalog Designations. SCP-4100. Threat level 0 interstellar, 10 surface bound. Resources. High amounts of organic and inorganic carbon. Very high amounts of salinated dihydrogen monoxide. Assorted protectorate weaponry. Special control protocols. SCP-4100 is currently unsuited for permanent habitation due to the high content of dihydrogen monoxide on its surface and atmosphere. 19 satellites acting as water extraction facilities will be deployed in low SCP-4100 orbit. These satellites will siphon the salinated dihydrogen monoxide while minimizing risk to protectorate workers. The surface of SCP-4100 is currently home to several aquatic and terrestrial entities that possess a threat to protectorate workers and citizens. As such, following the exhaustion of SCP-4100's dihydrogen monoxide, as well as any other relevant resources, it is to be quarantined. A colorized representation of a radio transmission originating from SCP-4100. It is believed the triumvirate... Can I just deal with this real quick? Hopefully this doesn't stop my recording. A colorized representation of a radio transmission originating from SCP-4100. It is believed the triumvirate based their pictograms off of this image. So, immediately, this image, this looks a lot like... I know of this. There's an image that was created to send out into... Image they sent out into space. Let's just look that up. I just looked that up. Yeah, this is it, actually. This is literally... No, it isn't. It's very, very similar. It's almost mirrored. Yeah, you can see a couple of differences here. This little thingy at the top is purple and it's flipped around. This over here, which is leaning more to the right, it looks like the entire image was like mirrored. I think that's probably what they just did. They just mirrored this and for some reason changed this to purple. That's interesting. Already forming some theories. Maybe SCP-4100 is Earth. Who knows? Oh, okay, I just read this line. Description. SCP-4100 refers to the planet formerly known as Earth. Immediately we know something happened to Earth. Let's see. SCP-4100 possesses a biosphere suitable for supporting carbon-based oxygen-breathing life forms, but has a little landmass suitable for supporting non-liquid dwelling life forms with a land-water ratio of approximately 10 to 90. Okay. SCP-4100 was a home planet of Homo sapiens sapiens, a species of sapient organism which was once prevalent throughout the human origin system. Homo sapiens sapiens colonized several areas in the human origin system, including the planets Mars and Venus. as well as Titan, the largest moon of the planet Hypatia, using primitive spacefaring technology, including rudimentary FTL travel. SCP-4100 was largely abandoned between GSC 10997 and 11001 due to the proliferation of thousands of entities, objects, events, and phenomena known to the Homo sapiens as SCPs. Following the planet's encounter with a Class 10 behemoth entity, the SCP designation does not appear to be related to the Stellar Congressional Protectorate or any of its sub-organizations. So, this looks like it's the Earth after a huge containment breach and all the SCPs broke out. So that sucks. According to Homo sapiens historical records, the SCPs are objects which have properties which were once believed to be abnormal in nature and were cataloged by an organization known as a triumvirate. So called due to the most prominent symbol being a set of 3 arrows pointing inwards. Oh, okay. They're calling the SCP organization triumvirate because it's 3 arrows pointing inside. Yeah, okay, cool. The classification of SCP objects as anomalous is largely due to a lack of scientific, cultural, or historical understanding by Homo sapiens sapiens. The Triumvirate organization, in particular, focused alternatively on the detention or destruction of SCP objects as opposed to the scientific study or interaction with sapient objects. Most knowledge of the Triumvirate comes from artificial satellites left by this organization in orbit around SCP-4100, containing documentation written in a pictograph format, presumably for ease of understanding to later civilizations. The number of SCP objects cataloged by the Triumvirate is estimated to be over 4,000. Below is a list of assorted SCPs cataloged by Triumvirate. A guide to Triumvirate pictographs. A white symbol has a numerical value of 1. A gray symbol with no barriers between individual squares indicates 0. A magenta symbol has a numerical value of 2 and is used in conjunction with white symbols to denote numbers greater than 5. Blue symbols are verbs or mathematical modifiers. A cross indicates add to, a dash indicates subtract from, and a pair of horizontal bars indicates equals. Yellow symbols are nouns. Green symbols denote positive or safe. Red symbols denote negative or danger. Orange blocks indicate the symbols within represent a chemical formula. Black squares are null. Black lines appear to denote barriers between symbols. Pictograph for item 173. 173 is the peanut, right? Yeah, SCP-173 is the peanut, the classic. Everyone knows this. So let's try to see how this functions in terms of, alien understanding. So, this is an eyeball, right? This cross means no, so that means yes. Okay, I can kind of see it. I can tell this figure right here for sure is supposed to be the SCP. Of note in this pictogram is the presence of a depiction of 3 chemical compounds. The first is believed to be calcium trisulfate and an unknown polymer. The second chemical pictured in the 3rd row is believed to be potassium cyanide. This chemical is fatally toxic to most known carbon-based life forms, including Homo sapiens, and has been interpreted as item causes death or item kills. An attached picture of 173, item though heavily bleached, shows a similar body shape to the Koshi drones used briefly by the Black Shroud rebels in the Rigel system, suggesting that the 173 item is a precursor to these items. Okay, so some alien or something like that used SCP-173 as a base to create something. I'm starting to think reading this article might have been a bad decision because it's gonna completely just change the way I'm viewing everything. Item 914. What's 914? 914. Oh, 914 is the machine. Okay. The 914 document includes a pattern for a frequency on the electromagnetic spectrum, which is evidently to be used to locate the 914 item. An expedition to the surface of SCP-4100's located parts of what is believed to be a gear device used in most Challenger-class spacecraft. As it was heavily damaged, no action was made to retrieve it. Okay, so here they're kind of just saying all these things that we think are SCPs are just really advanced pieces of technology or creatures, and we just don't understand them yet. The symbol 882. What's 882? 882. 882 is 882 appears to be randomly assigned gears, pulls, metals, current size is approximately. Any metal touching the object will become permanently affixed to it, and over a period of a few days it becomes a new part of the object. Organic matter remains unaffected. SCP-882 extremely resilient with developed auditory hallucinations among the object. Okay, so it's just a big magnet that gives you auditory hallucinations. Let's just say that. The symbol in the top right corresponds to one of the religious symbols of the Mechanion. Top right, does it? The lack of symbols indicates containment, as well as a lack of description beyond machine and iron. Indicates that it may be currently be in possession of the Church of Mechanion. Picture for item 2000. What's 2000? Warning. Oh, okay. Another one of these. If all you're attempting to access attempting to access beyond this point, submit login credentials. Okay, I don't care. Conscientiousness confirmed. Retrieving file. Thaumiel. Okay. Is disguised as a disused park ranger station in Yellowstone National Park, despite several civilians. I'm too lazy to read this. Remember us. It is known that Triumvirate knew of the existence of Galactic Standard Script when creating this pictogram. The information present in this image creates a compulsion to travel to a location on SCP-4100, which is currently occupied by the crater of a supervolcano. Oh, it's in Yellowstone. It blew up. Okay, cool. What's this? Speculated to be the evolution of early life on SCP-4100. Sure. You know, multiple cells, became fish, jellyfish, fish with legs, spikefish, people. Something bad came and took the people. Evolution, okay, I can see that. Either the history or the mission of the, okay. Okay, so this, I think, is termed by the Homo sapiens as Destroyer. Seems to be what they termed SCP-4100. Extant humans treat the Destroyer as an anti-deific figure responsible for the destruction of their homeworld. It is estimated the Destroyer entity killed 90% of life on SCP-4100, including 95% of all Homo sapiens. The theory put forth in Galactic Year 525 suggests that the SCP objects present on SCP-4100 were used to combat the Destroyer entity. This is unlikely, as the majority of extant humans treat SCP objects as anathematic. What does that mean? Hateful, loathsome. Something they think is bad. Okay. Destruction of 4100 and Galactic Year 5400. Oh, they destroy. Okay. A Class 10 behemoth entity matching the description of the Destroyer approached the human origin system at near light speeds on a direct collision course of SCP-4100. Most protectorate personnel and citizens were able to evacuate the system. The population of was unwilling to evacuate. Despite being offered a position on a small protectorate fleet, Hypaesthesia was entirely ignored by the behemoth entity. Upon it reaching the remains of SCP-4100's moon, the following message was broadcast to all protectorate ships within the range of Sol. Proposed update to SCP-4100 file. Planetary catalog destination SCP-4100. Threat level NA. Resources NA. Special control protocols NA. This is referred to a planet formerly known as Earth, prior to its use as a weapon in the destruction of an entity which would have consumed the majority of the human origin system. SCP-4100 was launched at this entity, destined to destroy, after an anti-deific being present in Homo sapiens culture at FTL speeds using an unknown propulsion system, resulting in near complete animation of both it and the destroyer entity. Immediately prior to SCP-4100's destruction, the following pictogram was sent from its surface. The meaning of it is unclear. The final transmission. So, the SCP organization tried to kill off the destroyer, I guess, but there are many more destroyers that were more here. Are these the other organization? Is this like a what do they call it? Something Claw? No, I might be thinking of Batman. Red Claw. What is it? Snake's Claw. What's it called? SCP Snake. Something to do with snakes. And the Chaos Insurgency. Is that what this is? These other two organizations. Sixth planet in the human origin system, home of especially second organic beings, so called due to the most prominent symbol being the set of 3 arrows pointing inwards. Okay. I don't know if I'm ever gonna be able to use this somehow in my game. It was a very interesting read. I liked it. It was good. This one gets a thumbs up from me. SCP-4200. Let's take a look. The weapon involved in the SCP-4200 event. Object class safe/neutralized. SCP-4200 has been successfully expunged from the historical record due to the secretive nature of the Manhattan Project and extensive cooperation with the Foundation by the U.S. government. 3 individuals, all of whom were affected by SCP-4200, have been expunged from all records, and relative to these individuals have been treated with Class O amnestics. SCP-4200-1's perimeter is surrounded by a 3-meter-high solidified chain-link fence at a continuous distance of 10 meters from the area itself. Signs are posted at frequent intervals with warning that the area is a former nuclear testing site and thus contains hazardous radioactive waste. SCP-4200 is the designation for an anomalous event which occurred on the 14th of November 1942 in the New Mexico desert. The event involved the detonation and subsequent malfunction of a weapon of mass destruction constructed as a side project during the Manhattan Project with anomalous technology salvaged from a site off the coast of Antikythera Island, Greece. The believed series of events is as follows. The weapon was placed at the designated point before being armed by 3 scientists, now identified as Timothy Noble, Eric Myers, and Bernard Kamen. During countdown of detonation, the weapon malfunctioned and detonated early before the scientists were at a safe distance. The weapon, all 3 scientists, the vehicles they were traveling in, and a large amount of sediment seemingly instantly dematerialized from the site. U.S. soldiers and Foundation operatives conducted extensive searches of the surrounding area to no avail. The site of detonation has been designated as SCP-4201. This number designates an approximately 900 miles squared area of land. SCP-4201 has been measured to have an abnormally low Hume level. Hume, I read about this, or I heard about this. Hume is reality levels. So, I don't know if a higher Hume level means it's closer to normal reality, or if a lower Hume level means it's closer to real reality. Let's actually take a look at the article. Why not? What the hell is a Hume? A good question. A Hume, yes, I know. It's amount of reality. Reality being measured this way, and it's certainly a hard concept to grasp. No, I understand it. It's not that bad. Level of reality 1 Hume. Once Hume's just measures the amount of... Okay, this doesn't explain whether low Hume means closer to reality or higher Hume means farther from reality. I don't know. But the point is, remember something about Humes. Where did I look at Humes? Where's Humes? Humes. There it is, Humes. With cant counters recording readings of anywhere from 10 to 60 Humes. Individuals that spend extensive amounts of time in the area note that they have slowed reflexes and are apparently drawn to 3 particular points in different areas of SCP-4201. This effect is believed to be both physical and psychological, as sand and other small objects have accumulated in large amounts at the aforementioned 3 points. The following is an audio transcript from the SCP-4200 event, recorded by Manhattan Project scientists. The audio is currently in Foundation possession. Date 14/11/1942. Audio logs transcribed approximately 13 minutes into testing just after the weapon was armed. 3 individuals were using handheld transceivers for communication. T-50 until detonation. Are you excited, Bernard? Very. I can't wait to drop one of these on Hitler's doorstep. The 3 laugh. Test command, 30 seconds. Hopefully the war will end before we need to, though. Then what's the point? 20 seconds. I agree with Eric here. It's good we've got this point. Thank God for the site in Greece, otherwise we wouldn't. The weapon detonates. Myers, Kamen, and Noble all vanish, along with the weapon and vehicle, which leaves a slight crater. What the hell just happened? Eric, Tim? Someone go out there and report to me what the hell just happened. Hello? Command? Where the hell are you? I don't know, I can barely move or see. Wasn't Noble one of the scientists that evaporated? I can barely move or see. It's like something is weighing me down on me from all sides. I don't know. Crap. I'm here. I can't move at all. My arms and legs are stuck in somewhere. I don't know where. Where's Eric? I can see him in front of me, just barely. He's not moving either. We're going to try and figure out where... I can't feel my heartbeat. I don't have a heartbeat. We need to just... A sudden cracking noise is heard. It's breaking my arm. Get us out of here. Myers was seemingly awoken. This continues to run. Okay, weird. So they exploded and were in a weird, like, stuck somewhere. And something started breaking their arms. Did they, like, get buried underneath the sand? I don't know. Again, I don't know where I'll use this in my game, if I will, but hey, it's nice. Get to a slightly... If the last story got a full, straight upwards thumbs up, this story gets a slight 15 degrees off thumbs up. SCP-4500. Persons of the dialogue. The narrator, the reader. The role of the reader is to be assumed by the scholar, Kirby Super. That's me! This scene is laid in the Containment Protocol archives, and the whole dialogue is narrated by the narrator to the reader. Book 1. Item number. Reader. What is the designated number of the item in question? Designated number of the item in question is 4500. Book 2. Safety class. What is the safety class of the item in question? The safety class of the item in question is Euclid. What are the special containment procedures of the item in question? SCP-4500 is assessed by philosophical contemplation. Knowledge of SCP-4500 is to be restricted to Level 4 researchers and above, as well as members of MTF-31Pi Platonic Solids. All public media describing 4500 are to be destroyed immediately, and Class D amnestics are to be administered to any civilians found to possess knowledge of SCP-4500. Due to its anomalous effect, all documentation concerning SCP-4500 is to be contained in the form of a Socratic dialogue to ensure stability. The containment procedures of SCP-4500 are to be recited in group dialogue, accompanied by the contemplation of SCP-4501. What is Socratic dialogue? A form of dialogue which encourages a group to question and reach consensus in answering a universal question. Okay, so the way to contain SCP-4500 is to have it like this, where I'm asking a question and then it's being answered to me, instead of me just reading and learning by myself. And how shall the item in question be studied? Philosophical expeditions into SCP-4500 are conducted weekly by MTF-31Pi Platonic Solids in the secondary library of Site-28. All researchers interested in visiting SCP-4500 must score 80% or higher on a Level 4 CPB Classical Philosophical Battery and pass screening for mimetic hazards. First team itonauts are asked to provide coffee and biscuits. Okay. New instances of SCP-4500-A are to be transcribed by at least 3 members. Oh, that scared me. Let me just fill this out real quick. Oh yeah, new instances of SCP-4500-A are to be transcribed by at least 3 members of MTF-31Pi, and the transcripts compared and edited until all 3 are in agreement. What is the description of the item in question? Okay, let's go. SCP-4500 is a Platonic ideal. In particular, it is the abstractification of the exact concept known as SCP-4501. Unlike most ideal concepts, SCP-4501 can be physically interacted with through philosophical thought. Group of contemplation of SCP-4501, facilitated by Socratic dialogue, allows travel to SCP-4500. Mental travel to SCP-4500 is possible through contemplation of ideal qualities inherent to SCP-4500 and is facilitated by group discussion and debate. What is seen during such travel? As far as it has been explored, SCP-4500 consists of idealizations and the concept of room. Each room is of variable volume and construction, with materials used including stone, lead, and bronze. It is believed that this is used to distinguish rooms, as room has only one platonic ideal, while large bronze room and small lead room have distinct platonic ideals. Each room explored to date displays a single instance of SCP-4500-A. Each instance of SCP-4500-A is an ideal dialogue between individuals. Every observer experiences this dialogue in their preferred language. Now speak. Tell me, what is the purpose of the item in question? The transcripts of SCP-4500-A instances suggest that the facility was once in the material realm, near Athens, Greece, and served a purpose similar to that of the modern-day Foundation. Okay. The exact method by which it was translated to the ideal realm is unknown, although several of the transcribed SCP-4500-A instances make allusions to the process. See example 4 below. None of the anomalies described in the instances of SCP-4500-A have been discovered during expeditions, despite dialogue implying their presence. Reclassification of SCP-4500 to safe is in process, awaiting the complete mapping of the interior. How was the item in question discovered? It was interesting. The item in question was discovered on 19th during a spirited debate between and concerning the philosophical underpinnings of their seminal work. During the debate, the two philosophers apparently conceived of SCP-4501 organically and discussed its existence, at which point they entered SCP-4500. The two discussed their findings in a college-wide seminar a week later. A Foundation operative planted in the mathematics department of college was able to document the seminar. Class A amnestics were administered to all civilians involved. Examples of SCP-4500-A. Can you provide me with examples of SCP-4500-A? What is the designation? The designation is Pi Alpha Nu. What threat does it represent? The threat of iron. And what is the method of constraint? Pi Alpha Nu shall be sealed in lead. No less than 2 freedmen shall attend Pi Alpha Nu at all times. A scholar of level Gamma or higher must be consulted before any experimentation with Pi Alpha Nu. And in no circumstances will Scholar Pandora be allowed to access Pi Alpha Nu again. And what is the description of Pi Alpha Nu? Pi Alpha Nu is a ceramic jar that was once painted with depictions of several silver threat aberrations, corresponding directly to known aberrations, as well as 3 unknown entities assumed to be aberrations. Scholar Epimetheus discovered Pi Alpha Nu on experimentation, revealed that Pi Alpha Nu is capable of storing living entities in a state of stasis. The painted depictions on the jar changed to represent the contents. Under routine testing by Scholar Pandora, the constraint of Pi Alpha Nu was broken, and several silver threat aberrations were released. At this day, only one, the entity blank, has been reconstructed in Pi Alpha Nu. What is the designation? Pi Epsilon Theta. What does it represent? The threat of silver. What is the method of constraint? All scholars not in the second academy that display knowledge of Pi Epsilon Theta are to be drowned at sea. Any scrolls describing Pi Epsilon Theta are to be burnt and the ashes dispersed. All pottery depicting Pi Epsilon Theta is to be destroyed and ground to a size not exceeding that of a mustard seed. And what is the description of Pi Epsilon Theta? Pi Epsilon Theta is the knowledge of numbers not in perfect fraction. This knowledge was first discovered by scholar Pythagoras when calculating the length of an isosceles right triangle hypotenuse. Knowledge of Pi Epsilon Theta is an emanatory ideal, capable of oral and written transmission. Pi Epsilon Theta causes severe distress during initial exposure. What is the designation? The designation is Omega Omega Omega. And what threat does it represent? The threat of gold. What is the method of the constraint? Omega is to be cast into the pit known as Tartarus Beta to a depth of no less than 20 stadians. All seismic motions shall be reported to Scholar Zeus, who will hurl no less than 3 thunderbolts of type Omega down Tartarus Beta. If seismic motions continue, Scholar Zeus is instructed to engage Omega directly. What is the description of Omega? Omega is human in body, but wears 100 serpents' heads on its shoulders. The being emits both flame and thunder from every head. The being is highly viral and has produced numerous abominations, including Kappa Epsilon Rho, Epsilon Delta Rho, and M Omicron Rho Theta. Escape of Omega could result in a new Earth and new cosmos. Constraint of Omega is our greatest ideal. Okay, I'm going a little bit more. What is the designation? The designation is pi lambda alpha, and what threat does it represent? No threat. Its substance is that of heroes. And what is the method of constraint? Pi lambda alpha shall be held at ready at all times by no fewer than 3 scholars of the highest circle. If all constraints shall fail and alteration of Earth and cosmos is imminent, a scholar of the highest circle possessing knowledge of pi lambda alpha shall enact it. And what is the description of pi lambda alpha? Pi lambda alpha is the breaking of the chains. Pi lambda alpha is the burning of puppets and the dousing of fire. Pi lambda alpha is walking out of the cave and into the light. Pi lambda alpha is not to be used until all other resources are exhausted. This room was distinct from the others, including an idealization of small straw bed. Whose is this abode? This is the abode of Scholar Heracles. And where is Scholar Heracles? After the death of Scholar Megara, Scholar Heracles has been assigned to the duty of gold-level beings as punishment for his recklessness until further notice. I have no clue what this meant. I really have absolutely zero idea at all. Like, if you think of a perfect room, like the absolute perfect example of a room, you get sent to the room, something to do with Greece. I can tell there's a lot of stuff about, like, Greek gods and stuff, and Greek philosophers and stuff. It's like, I really didn't understand it. I'd have to do a lot more research on, like, Greek philosophers and such to understand about this, and I don't want to do that, which is why this is probably not going to go into my game. This gets a sideways thumb for me. I can tell that, like, someone would probably enjoy this, not me. I don't even understand it. So let's move on. Final SCP for today: SCP-4400. Object class safe. Okay. Palenque National Park is to be operated entirely by Foundation operatives under the guise of standard Mexican National Park employees. A clause concerning this has been inserted into the Foundation Mexico Operating Treaty, and the National Commission of Protected Natural Areas will assist the Foundation in pulling this. All further archaeological exploration of Palenque is to have a minimum 2 Foundation personnel from the Archaeological Division embedded within the existing exploration team. These personnel are to be stocked and trained with Class B amnestics. If a new SCP-4400 access tunnel is discovered, they are to use the amnestics to remove any memory of discovery from the exploration team. Following this, they are to covertly alert Site-48-4 command to the discovery to allow for proper containment. How long is this? Okay, it's decently long. Okay. All access tunnels are to have metal covers welded over them and secured into the surrounding stone. The covers of access tunnels Hune, Ka, and Ooks have been modified to allow for entrance, and these covers should be kept accessible but locked when not in use. All buildings known to contain an SCP-4400 access tunnel are to be sequestered from general tourist areas of Palenque National Park. When Foundation Palenque? Is it Palenque National Park? Maybe. The Foundation guards stationed at each such building. Any further exploration of SCP-4400 by the Archaeological Division itself should be conducted within an armed escort from Mobile Task Force Shikai curators and under standard protocol for the exploration of anomalies involving high amounts of radiation. SCP-4400 is an extra-dimensional space below Palenque. SCP-4400 can be accessed from multiple tunnels located within Palenque, but cannot be reached outside of these tunnels. Okay? Excavation attempts at digging into SCP-4400 have been unsuccessful. There are 12 known access tunnels into SCP-4400. SCP-4400 contains a representation of Palenque during the late Classic period, a period of mine history lasting from approximately 600 CE to 900 CE, although Palenque was abandoned in 799 CE. All entrances to SCP-4400 exit within this replica of Palenque. Excavated buildings within Palenque built before or during this period correspond to buildings within SCP-4400, with other buildings within SCP-4400 believed to be buildings that did not survive to the present day. There are no light sources, natural, artificial, or anomalous within SCP-4400. Several of the buildings within SCP-4400 appear to have been modified at an indeterminate point in the past. These modifications include the addition of multiple anomalous and mundane traps, as well as modifications to many of the frescoes located within SCP-4400. The majority of these traps have been disabled. Additionally, SCP-4400 is slightly irradiated, averaging about 1 to 2 MSV per day of exposure. SCP-4400 America is the collective designation for 4 eigenweapons. What the hell is that? The 4th category of weapon of mass destruction of either anomalous origin or function. Consult document for more info. And the waste products of their construction, which were evidently created around 650 CE. The component parts of SCP-4400 America are located at the tops of several pyramids within SCP-4400, such as the equivalents to the Temples of the Skull and the Temple of the Sun. For information on the current hypothesis concerning the nature of SCP-4400 America, please consult Addendum 4404. Many of the traps within SCP-4400 are constructed around the components of SCP-4400 America, and the majority of the altered frescoes within SCP-4400 appear to relate to SCP-4400 America. For these reasons, the Archaeological Division has concluded that SCP-4400 was either created or modified to contain SCP-4400 America. Sentient beings within SCP-4400 undergo an anomalous empathetic alteration, which has been designated as SCP-4400 Barcelona. This typically results in an increased fear response with an unknown stimulus. The degree to which this anomalous effect is present varies between organisms. In controlled testing, dogs and mice immediately attempt to escape SCP-4400. Humans, however, typically describe this as a feeling of strong apprehension or dread. This anomalous empathetic alteration appears to be stronger around certain areas of SCP-4400, including the SCP-4400 equivalent to the Palenque Temple of the Sun or Palenque Temple of the Skull. This effect has prevented almost all attempts at climbing such locations and properly investigating either. The exact boundaries of SCP-4400 are unclear. There is no observable upper limit to SCP-4400. The copy of Palenque within SCP-4400 is situated atop a 1,000-meter tall plateau, with all surrounding lands being undifferentiated smooth rock. Excavation attempts have tunneled 100 meters downward and yielded no results. Okay. Archaeological Division records. Dr. Hector Rosales, researcher Javier Balenciaga. A large number of painted stucco reliefs. Okay, this is too much. And also, I'm getting tired. I've been talking for 38 minutes straight, which isn't that bad. I think my voice still sounds the same, but I'm getting tired. I'm running out of breath. This is interesting. I might read it on my own time, but it's not super interesting. I don't know how it'd fit in a video game, so oops. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching, ? I don't even know if any of you guys watched, but hey, it was fun. It's fun. Alright, and I'll see you guys next time. Maybe if people like this, hey, I'll do it again. Maybe leave some stories for me to read in the description. Maybe like obscure stories that you really like, okay? So yeah, whatever. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.